Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with Galal Yafai. Galal, good to see you in Birmingham. We just had a chat about Birmingham and our history here, but glad to get this fight over the line. A lot of history in this fight, aptly named Bloodline.
Yeah, definitely. All sorted now. 30th of November. Here we see who the man is now. Um, I'm sure it's going to be a good fight. But I'm looking to put on a show here and really show people what I'm about.
It's not often in people's in boxing or boxers' careers that fighters will go through an Olympic cycle, will go through to the top levels of support, but of the sport, but also will have a rivalry. Sometimes fighters go through and never have that real kind of rivalry with another fighter. From what point did you know that Sonny would be someone that you'd be facing, or would be someone that you have to go through to get to the top?
I think obviously when he won his world title, but I think it's just gained traction. You know, we fought nearly 10 years ago, 9 years ago as an amateur, and you don't think of anything back then. You just you're two amateurs fighting each other, and then you go through your fights, and then I'll go to the Olympics, and then I win gold, and he becomes world champion, and his name's growing, and my name's growing, and there's no one else there really that you can fight or have that real British grudge match with. And me and Sonny would just dance parts from day. We sparred a lot of rounds. We've just been rivals, like I said, rivals from day one, since he beat me. So now I can put the record straight and hopefully get the win.
Can you take me back to those spars that you had and how competitive they were and how much you feel they might reflect the fight night?
You know what? Good question. You know what? You don't really know. Spars are different to fights, but if it's to go from spars, then I'm sure he'd say the same, but I'd be happy. I'd be like, yeah, it's going to be straightforward. It should be fine. But they don't always go as you plan. You see people that spar and they might get the better, but then they get into the fight and then they get knocked out or they lose. So I'm not trying to look too much into the sparring. But I'm sure it's going to be a good fight from them spars. And we're both stubborn as well. He don't want to lose to me and I don't want to lose to him. So, and I'm proper stubborn. So, we'll see fight night.
What do you remember in terms of Sonny's development as a fighter? How much do you think he reflects those spars specifically, or how much do you think he's grown from those spars as a fighter? Do you think he's similar to the style that you would have fought?
He was the same as the spars early last year, so not much would have changed. But from as in styles who I've fought, I haven't fought anyone like him before. But I've only had 7 fights. Normally they're sort of South American, so they're not really back foot fighters. And I haven't fought at that level yet, which people are intrigued with. So will I step up to the plate, and will that be a factor? I don't think so, but we'll all find out fight night.
How big of a jump do you feel it is from your current competition to Sonny Edwards?
On paper, it's a big jump, but me knowing what I know, I'll be fine with that big jump. So, but it's all for you guys to see. It doesn't matter if I know it or not. I've got to show it, and I'm sure I will when we fight.
Sonny obviously carries a lot of kind of, I guess the best way to put it is ill will from those GB days and not being selected, and kind of channels that towards Rob McCracken. Is this a fight where you go into this, you're fighting for Rob as well as yourself here? You're fighting for kind of to prove that part of it as well. Is that a thing in this fight?
No, I've got that Olympic gold medal and it's stuck staying with me now. But obviously, we're sportsmen. We're competitive. Like he's competitive, I'm competitive. He wanted to go to the Olympics. I got picked, but I think it justified it when I won gold. So it don't really bother me. He was a world champion in his own right. So I think he's happy with that. I'm happy with being Olympic champion, but now I get to hopefully become world champion. So hopefully I could do both.
The suggestion from Sonny that this fight wouldn't have happened unless it was in Birmingham, was that the case, or were you happy to go anywhere for it?
Yeah, I was happy to go anywhere for it. There's a lot that I haven't said. I know a lot of people said that that I wanted the fight before, and I would only fight Sonny if I got the fight before. That wasn't the case. I just asked for the fight before. I'm matchroom obliged. So that wasn't the case. And also, if it was in Birmingham, obviously I asked for it to be in Birmingham. Or they said to me, "Do you want it in Sheffield or Birmingham?" Which was a silly question. I'm gonna go for Birmingham. and they asked him the same question. He's obviously going to go to Sheffield, and that was it. Then I didn't hear nothing from it, so I didn't think there was anything, no back and forths. Maybe there were back and forths, and that was the deciding factor if the fight was happening or not. I would have gone Sheffield. It's not like it's out the blue for me, or I'm not fighting in the middle of Phoenix, or I don't know, in the middle of Las Vegas. I train in Sheffield every week, so it's 2 hours down the road for me, so it wouldn't have been a bother for me really. But I think Matchroom wanted it in Birmingham as much as they wanted it in Sheffield, so that's why they didn't argue the case.
What was the reason for that run out then last week? Was it just getting another repetition of fight nights and big occasions, and just getting out and making sure you're used to everything that is obliged from you on fight night?
Well, I fought last April 6th this year, so if you calculate, or if you do the months from April 6th to the 30th of November, it's nearly 8 months. So I didn't want to be at the ring for 8 months. Do you know what I mean? It's not very good for someone who's had 7 fights. That's going in against the best guy they faced, who they say is number 1 in the division, who's been world champion and whatnot. It's probably not the best preparation, so I want to give myself the best preparation, so there's no excuse for myself after. He's used to fighting every 6-7 months. I'm not. Well, I think the longest I've had off is 6 months, so 8 months is a bit. I'm alright, thanks. Yeah, 8 months is a bit. It's the most time I've had at the ring to be fighting my first 12 rounder against a former world champion who's a top guy. So I want to give myself the best chance, basically.
You get the win as you plan to do against Sonny Woods. Capturing the full version of the title will be in your next line of sight, right?
You know what? I'm not even thinking about that. I'm not even looking that far ahead. I've got a hurdle to jump over with Sonny. If I jump over that hurdle, which I think I will, then I can think about that fight. But for now, it's too far away. I got to think about the Sonny fight for now.
Can I get your take on last weekend's action in form of AJ's defeat to Daniel Dubois? Just what your thoughts on AJ's loss there?
Yeah, it was. It's not the best we've seen him, but he's been around a long time now. He's fought a lot of good fighters. He's 34, 35 now, so he's at the end of his career. I don't know. He's made a lot of money in his career. I know my hunger would be diminishing by now if I was as wealthy a man as him and had the success. But he's a great attribute to British boxing and world boxing overall. He's a superstar, and he's Olympic champion. He's unified world champion, or he was. He's just a massive success, and whatever he chooses to do, he deserves it, right? Because he's always been the man, hasn't he?
Does Robbie ever talk much about it? Because the hardcore boxing fans, and I'll be direct as I can here, they always kind of suggest that Robbie and AJ were the best fit for each other. He looked the best under McCracken. Is there ever a conversation that you had about AJ and just his experiences since he's left McCracken?
Nah, you know what? Not all. Rob's a professional guy, man. He's straight down the middle. I think looking from the outside in, he probably was best under Rob, but am I going to be biased because I train with Rob? Maybe, but I'm trying to be as truthful as I can, and he probably was the best under Rob. But sometimes things change, and you want to train with different people, and you want to change. But he's had a great career, whatever he does. If he can lose the next 5 fights, he's had a brilliant career.
Think he wins the rematch against Dubois?
If we're gonna bet my house on it, I probably wouldn't say yeah. But I like Dan as well. From my time on GB with him, but I'll be rooting for Josh.
Be the final with yourself November 30th. What happens in your fight with Sonny Edwards?
Well, I ain't Houdini, so I don't know who's gonna win. You know what? I'm not the kind of guy who's gonna say this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. We'll see on the 30th of November. But trust me, it's not gonna be good for him. But I just do my best and do what I can.
Galal, I'm looking forward to a big domestic dust-up with world title implications. Thank you for speaking to SecondsOut. So all the best for your fight with Sonny Edwards.